Hi, I'm Peggy Farron, and you are watching the Understand Photography Show, where we talk about travel and nature photography. Now, we broadcast this live on Facebook at 4 p.m. on Fridays. So go to our if you're watching this recording and you want to watch next week live, facebook.com/understandphotography. But, of course, then we put it on YouTube so you can watch it anytime, and it's also a podcast on iTunes. We would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. If we get 1,000 YouTube subscribers, maybe we can start monetizing this. That would be very, very helpful, because this so far has been a lot of work for nothing. But we feel like we're doing a service, and hopefully it will work out in the end. So please subscribe to our YouTube and to our podcast on iTunes. Also, have you watched our free webinar? It's called How to Get a Solid Photography Education in Just 4 Weeks. It's about a 45-minute webinar, and it is an infomercial. It goes through our class that we talk about, but you're also going to learn a lot. In fact, a lot of people say they watch my free webinar on a regular basis when they forget some basic things about photography. Our motto at Understand Photography is we simplify the technical, and we work hard to simplify the technical. We also have a new online class. It's called Getting Started in Lightroom, and it is a series of very short videos. So you watch the short video, you do the work. You watch the next video, you do the work. I think there are 29 or 30 videos. They're all real short, and you are going to learn Lightroom. Lightroom's not easy to learn if you know that. So understandphotography.com. Check us out. My guest today is Joe Fitzpatrick, and if you are a regular on our show, you know so is Joe. Joe is, I don't even know how many episodes Joe's been on with me now. Joe is our lead instructor here at Understand Photography. He is one of those brainiac kind of guys who knows so much, but he's able to explain things clearly and simply. So today we're going to talk about the different methods of carrying your camera, like straps and holsters and even bags. Okay, so welcome, Joe.
Thank you, Peggy. Good to be here again.
Yay.
Well, on this side of the camera for a change.
Yes. All right, well, let's start with straps. Now, as you know, I have like football player shoulders.
Yeah, I envy you on that, because mine kind of just
slope.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, because, you know, I started photography. I have no problem carrying my cameras with a strap that came with the camera. And then all of a sudden, when I started teaching, everybody was talking about, oh, I can't keep my camera on my shoulders.
Yeah, big problem.
I'm thinking, weird. But then I realized, and I told you my story, right?
Yeah.
One time.
Tell them.
Yeah. I was in sales. This is many years ago, and I had on a silk shirt, and you know how thin silk is, right? Mm-hmm. And one of my customers said, this is back in the 80s, okay, you know, I'm an older woman, right? So it was like 1989. I had a silk shirt, which is what? How thick is that? Like a centimeter?
Yeah.
Not even a centimeter thick, right?
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he goes, I hate those huge shoulder pads that women wear. I'm like, thanks a lot, buddy, this is me. So now you, who does have a problem with straps.
Right, yeah. I wasn't born to be a photographer, unfortunately.
Or a football player.
Or a football player. Obviously, that too.
Now, especially like for those of us who carry heavy cameras, are there specific camera straps for heavier cameras? Or what's the story? Tell us about straps.
You start out with the camera maker strap, and ironically they call them neck straps, because if you remember back in the day, you'd see a picture of somebody and they had it around their neck with the camera hanging in front of them. You rarely see anybody carry that way anymore, because all the weight is on the back of your neck.
Yeah, you'd break your neck.
It doesn't take long to make that uncomfortable. So even though they're, quote, neck straps, generally, even with the camera makers, you'll find people put it on the one shoulder. The problem there is, I mean, although the straps have one thing going for them, they're free, and that's about it. Because generally they're fairly slippery. So you'll find, especially with any kind of shirt, like if you have nylon or something like that, they're going to slide right off your shoulder as you're walking around. So you go into these third-party straps. There's a lot of makers out there that make nice straps. I'd say the most popular one is probably Optec. I like them. They're American-made. Tamrac is another one, but they've just stopped making their straps, and I think they're going to come out with a new line now, but I've used them for years. They're very similar, but unlike the manufacturer's straps, besides being slippery, once they're on the camera, they're on the camera. To take it off the camera, you have to unknot it and everything else.
I know. Believe me, I have
Yeah.
to do it every time I need to get my camera cleaned or
Exactly.
repaired. I have
Pain
to
in the
take
neck.
it all apart. It's hard.
Or if you have it on a tripod, a lot of times, you don't want that strap dangling in the breeze because it's causing vibration, you know, and you're trying to not have any vibration, and now you got this thing that's like a sail hanging, flopping around, so you want to take it off. So most of the third-party straps, they have quick disconnects on them somewhere. So you can take the strap off and just leave maybe a little stub on the camera. So that's a great way to do it. And most of those quick connects, at least the good ones, both Optec and Tamrac use a particular kind that's, again, American made. And I've been using the Tamrac since early 80s, and I've never had one fail. And I put some heavy stuff on them. So they're great. You don't have to worry about them breaking or coming apart or anything like that. I did break one, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, the way I broke it is my camera fell off a table, and when it hit the ground, it landed on the quick connect and broke the quick connect.
Oh, wow.
So that's the only one I've ever broken.
Did it break your camera, too?
No, the camera was fine, but the quick connect broke. So.
Well, hey, that's better than the camera, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, the third party then, of course, they cost money, and a lot of them can cost up to 80 or 90, and there's even some, the fancy ones, that may be well over $100.
But you haven't explained what's good about them.
Okay, well, what's good about them is the quick connects are good about them.
Okay.
They're usually some kind of anti-slip material, depending on which one you have. They have like some kind of rubberized back so it'll grip and not slide off your shoulder. They also come in different shapes. One of the ones I use that Optec makes, and Tamrac has the same style, it's shaped like a boomerang. So it contours to your shoulder. Okay. In other words, if you have the weight on a regular strap, it wants to hang straight down, so you're not getting the whole thing. When you put it on the shoulder, the strap's flat, but your shoulder isn't. But these contour to your shoulder. A lot of them are made of a flexible or stretchy rubber, so when you put them on, they cushion as well. So they can be really comfortable, and you can walk around with them for a long time.
But they're heavy, right?
Oh, they're heavier than the
I know,
standard strap, yeah.
For, you know, the Canon Professional Services, they always send you gifts.
Yeah.
And they sent me this big heavy-duty strap.
Yeah, that's an Optec strap is what it is.
Oh, is that?
That's the Optec. That's
I didn't like it.
That's the one I'm describing.
Because it was heavy. It added weight.
It adds weight, but if you're using a heavy camera rig, if you got a bigger pro camera and you got a 70 to 200 2.8 hanging off it, or something like a 150 to 600, that extra width and the way it's shaped makes it a lot more comfortable than you know, carrying it with just a camera maker's strap.
Okay. Interesting.
Plus, since they have quick connects on them too, what I do is I have quick connects on my camera body, but I also have quick connects on my tripod plate on a long lens. Okay. So when I carry it with a long lens on, I have the strap hooked to the quick connects on the tripod plate, so it balances the camera. Okay, so you don't have all that weight straight down on it. Makes it much more comfortable to carry that way.
Okay.
So that's a nice thing to have too. But your third-party ones, you know, it's a single strap. It goes on your shoulder, but they can be very comfortable. And a lot of people do that, especially if you're not going to carry the camera all day. You know, often that's the way I mostly carry my cameras. I'll have it on the shoulder, and I'll have that CPS strap, the Canon Professional Services, which, like I say, is an Optec.
Okay.
I got a Tamrac, which is very similar to that. Or if I don't want something bulky and I'm not going to be carrying the camera very much, I'll just use one of their ones that's about the width of the regular freebie strap from the camera maker, but it's got the anti-slip stuff on the back. So I'll use that instead of the camera makers, because I can take it off and on, and it's okay, you know, and they're pretty reasonably priced.
I wonder how many strap makers there are now, because now you see all these decorative straps as well.
Yeah.
Now, does the Optec make the decorative straps as
yeah,
well?
they have them in leather or leather pad, and then fabric or whatever straps, and then they have them in different colors and stripes and all kinds of stuff. I have one that's got little camera guys on it or something, a pattern, and I've got a plain black one, and there's all different kinds.
I've seen some of the photographers with the It looks like lambskin underneath it,
Yeah.
where the shoulder goes, and then it's got like a flower pattern on top of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure who makes them, but I've seen them. But you know, that's kind of patterned after the straps that the postal carriers use. A lot of them had, or used to, they had like a lamb's wool backing on them, you know, for more comfort. But I don't know how, I've never tried one of them, but I imagine that the lamb's wool is not real tacky, so that might wind up being comfortable but slippery.
Yeah.
I don't know. No.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah,
I tried that one strap. I didn't like it. I've never used anything but the free straps because I got these shoulders. I don't need anything else.
Well, I got a closet full of them you can try. Well, that's why you don't like the curved one, because it's curved for a shoulder that slopes.
Oh.
And if you put it on a straight shoulder, it's
uncomfortable.
It's pulling the other direction. Yeah. The only way you can get away with that
at all. In fact, I can't remember who I gave it to, and they were so excited. And they were like, I'm like, I hate this thing. And I was like, oh, give it to me.
Yeah.
All right, what else about straps?
Well, you know, another thing about them is when you have a shoulder strap on like that, if you're walking in a crowded place or a tourist destination, it's easy for somebody to just yank it right off. You know, it's not really secure just being on your shoulder like that, because it can be pulled off your shoulder. So sometimes what people will do when they're in a place like that, they won't wear it on the one shoulder, they'll wear it across their chest, you know, with it over, so it's looped that way.
So that the camera goes underneath.
Camera goes underneath.
One arm and the straps on the other shoulder.
So and most of them have straps that are long enough, or you can buy extensions, like I know Optec has extensions, so longer, so you can do that with it, so it's across your chest, which makes it safer. There's one outfit called PackSafe, and they make a line of bags, but they also make a camera strap, and it's got a steel cable reinforcing inside it.
So they can't cut it either.
So the idea is they can't cut it off, but I'm kind of up in the air about that. If a guy's that close to me and backing me with a knife, I think I'd rather not annoy him and let him cut it off and take it. Because if he can, he's liable to get
just stick that knife into you.
Exactly,
yeah,
you know. So I don't know whether that's a good deal or not. There's somebody else that has one too with one of the other straps, but I don't remember who it is. But I know PackSafe, because they make all these bags with that.
PackSafe, and it's
PAC-Safe, yeah. They've been around for a long time, yeah.
So what if you don't want a strap? What are other options?
Well, a hand strap would be the next thing.
Okay.
And a lot of people will use a hand strap, and a hand strap is just that. It's just a leather or nylon strap that attaches on one side of the camera, and your hand goes in it and holds it that way. So it comes over it's coming over the back of your hand.
Okay.
So you can dangle the camera like this, and some of the weight will be on the strap now instead of just on your grip. So it's more so if you accidentally lose your grip, it's still on your wrist.
Yeah.
I used that for a while, and sometimes when I was walking around and I had the camera in my hand, like an event or something. But the problem is, when you have the grip tight enough to be secure, I had difficulty moving my thumb and finger and getting to all the controls because the strap was restricting it. Okay. So I'd have to make the strap loose, so I had flexibility in my fingers. I'm a manual shooter, so I needed to get at the controls, the shutter and the aperture and what have you. And I found it was difficult to move and change the focus and things like that because I was restricted by the strap. Okay. So I got away from them. I used them for a long time, and I just finally got away from them.
I had one of the guys who used to work for me as a commercial photographer. He used that, but you have to put the camera down all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he didn't know where he put it. It's like, where did I put my camera? Whatever.
Yeah, you know,
because we can't carry it around like that all the time.
Well, if you're using it constantly, like I could see using it in a studio situation, where if you're shooting models, and you're not going to have the camera dangle around you're going to have it in your hand. Or if you're not going to have it in your hand, you want to get rid of it. So that's fine, because it's a safety thing to keep it from sliding out of your hand if for some
Right.
reason you get bumped or something. So I could see it using it in a studio.
Yeah.
And in a studio, you won't have to worry about the controls because you set up the camera, and once you have it
You're
set
not
up,
changing it
you're not
constantly.
changing your aperture, you're not changing your shutter
Yeah.
speed. You're focusing, but you can get it to focus, but you wouldn't have the issues I had with it. So I could see them in that. But if you're carrying it around for a long time and you're just trapped to it, I've got the camera, this is heavy, so you're going to want to put it down.
Yeah.
So you got to remember where you put it.
Yeah, that was funny because we would do we do like commercial photography and like restaurants and doctors' offices and and he did more of the architectural stuff, and he just couldn't always just putting it down and losing it.
Yeah.
So what about like these harnesses?
Well, you have different kinds of harnesses. The other kind of straps they have first, and that's kind of like the next thing up, is these sling straps.
Okay.
And I guess the most famous of them, or the one you hear about the most, is Black Rapid.
Correct.
And what that is, that's a strap that again goes across your chest.
Okay.
Okay. But the end of it, instead of being attached to the traditional two things on the camera that you attach a strap to, the two little ends on the end, it's designed to attach to the tripod mount on the bottom of the camera. So the camera hangs upside down.
Okay.
And there you have the mount, and then you have some kind of a swivel so the camera can move around a little bit. And then where it attaches to the strap, there's a slide. So you can pull the camera up, just pull it up, and the strap kind of stays there and it slides up on the strap. And then you can shoot, and then you can really just leave it go and it'll go back down, and use it that way. And they're convenient. It seemed like that got to be the trend. The Black Rapid came out, and there were a couple other brands that came out, and all of a sudden everybody's got to have one because they look so cool, because you can whip the camera up. A lot of the street photographers went to it because I think a lot. They're practical, but I think there was a lot of coolness factor there too, where the cool thing is to have this so you can whip the camera up, and they're good for walking around, but the camera swings free.
Okay, so it bangs into your leg if you have a long lens or something?
So if you've got a long lens, well, the first thing is banging into your hip and it's banging into your leg. You can get bruised from them.
Yeah, my cameras are big and heavy.
Yeah, I get bruised sometimes from the one on my waist sometimes, but they're swinging back and forth, they're dangling, so they're hitting you and they're hitting other stuff. And if you're in a situation where you got to lean down a lot or stoop, it's fine if you're standing up and walking down the street and you just, okay, take a picture, let it go, and that. Or if but if you're walking or running, God forbid, try to run with it. It's now you got to wait swinging back and forth as you're running, so it's banging you to death.
Well, that would be the same in a strap, though, wouldn't it?
Well, it would be.
The strap would be up a little higher, though, so you could kind of hold on to it. Yeah.
Now they do make cinches for them that'll clip to your belt to get around that, where you can have that too. So, but that's another thing when you're moving around. It is swinging around somewhat. They do let you get to your camera much faster, because with the regular one on a typical, when you have a standard strap, you're going to pick it up and you're going to raise it, pull it up with the hand, and then the one strap is hanging in front of your face.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, where with this, since it's where the attachment's on the bottom of the camera, when you pick the camera up, the strap is hanging off the bottom of the camera. So there's no...
Now, how do you hold your camera correctly, though? Because you know me, I'm like left hand underneath. Your left hand should be like a shelf.
Your left hand's on the lens underneath.
Oh, if you have a big lens.
Yeah, I mean, typically you're not...
But if you don't have a big lens...
Well, you're going to...
You just got to... You can't...
It's going to be uncomfortable if you're trying to put it on that.
Yeah, because the thing would be right on the...
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do... You're going to have your hand far enough forward to be on the lens. Because the tripod thing, that's going to stick down, and that's
so
going
if
to be
you're
uncomfortable.
using, like if you're a, somebody who's using a wide lens on a regular basis, like a landscape photographer, that would be a pain in the hand. A pain in the hand.
Ironically, it's the street photographers with the wide lenses that favor them the most. Yeah,
it just seems weird to me.
I know, it's...
I mean, unless you're holding with your left hand on top, but then of course you have trouble getting steadier shots. So.
Yeah. You know,
I tried one, and I guess because I don't have a problem with the regular straps, I don't see all the appeal to all this other stuff that everybody is into. So, is there any other kind of harnesses?
Staying on the sling strap for a minute, there are some, and there are adapters. So instead of hooking it onto the tripod plate, you can hook it onto one of your camera lugs. One of the regular, just mounted on one of them. There's also a style that, I think it's Optech makes it, that it's on a slide, but it uses the regular camera mounting points. There's no swivels. It's just the attachment slide back and forth.
On the sides where the regular strap goes.
Where the regular strap goes. So there's a bunch of different ones there that can work one way or the other. Now the swivel and the attachment on the tripod, you have to watch. Because I've yet to see one. You know, you're screwing it into the tripod, and then you're putting stress and you're turning back and forth. So the tripod, tripod attachment has a tendency to come loose.
Okay, so before you use it, you should tighten up that
You should tighten it before
you
use it, and if you're out for a while, you should tighten it again. You can see this as a problem because some of the manufacturers now sell a safety strap which attaches to a camera lug and then to the strap as well. So if it does come loose, it doesn't go anywhere. So obviously, you know, it happens more than they want to talk about.
Right.
So you always have to make sure you're tightening that because it might come, you know, if it comes loose, boom, you know, there it goes. Also that swivel can be a point of failure. Early ones, when they first went into it, the swivels were coming undone from the thing. So now they have a safety catch on the swivel too. Because if you turned it a certain way, it would actually push the clip on the swivel part loose and it would undo itself. So then they started putting locks on them. But I just noticed somebody that was on one of the forums that I was attaching to, and he had that back off. And he had it loosen up that way. The safety thing loosened up. I don't see how that could happen, but I guess anything can happen. So.
And as you know, we have a friend, actually, the lady who was on our show, Diana Kalea, she went on a trip, and her strap, it broke.
Yeah, the swivel connector failed. It didn't come unscrewed where the actual swivel part.
It just broke.
It failed, yeah.
And she lost her camera and her lens, and I guess she didn't have a backup with her, so she was lucky. She was with other professionals who lent her equipment, so her trip was still good, but she had to learn, I forget, she's like Canon and had to learn to use a Nikon or vice versa or something like that, which is hard because all the adjustments are in the different places. And
makes it difficult. Even when you go from one to another in the same brand, sometimes it can be tough that way.
But she made it, and the company bought her a new camera and lens.
That was amazing,
So.
Well, I guess they could see from the piece she had left that it was a failure of it rather than her having it unscrew.
It wasn't her, it broke.
If they unscrew, they're just going to say.
Then when you're right, that camera went smashing down and it was dead. Dead. All right, what else?
What else? Well, you know, like I was mentioning Black Rapid, they make a strap like that. There's a couple other outfits just so we give equal time to everybody. Luma Loop makes one. Theirs has an adjustment for length. Again, it attaches to the tripod mount. They use a plate to mount it, so there's no real swivel there. Okay, so they change it differently. Like the Black Rapid, if you want to use either one of them with a tripod, you have to you have to unscrew it from the tripod mount, and then you can mount with your tripod. Sun Sniper, they make one. Theirs has a fancy ball bearing in it to make so it won't unscrew as fast. Okay, and they're kind of a high-end strap. And again, you have to, and they have a preventer to keep it from coming unscrewed, a thing that kind of hooks over the back of the camera so it won't come unscrewed. You know, that's a German company, I think. And they also, another thing that happens with these I didn't mention is when you take it and you slide it up, sometimes instead of just sliding up the strap decides to slide with it off your back. So now you don't have the pad up there anymore, you have the strap.
Okay.
So a lot of them now, they sell another piece that attaches and goes under your arm so the strap won't slip around, an underarm strap.
Right.
And that's usually an extra cost option.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you know. There's most of these, like I'm trying to think, there's one that, trying to remember who it is that attaches, you don't have to take it off to attach the tripod. Joby, I think, is the one that makes that, J-O-B-Y. They're the ones that make those little tripods with the bendable legs and all.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
little thing, yeah. And I think they make one that has a custom mount, tripod mount for an Arca Swiss, and then attaches to that, so you can leave it on, you know. So
Okay.
that's nice that way. Other than them, another one that's interesting is Peak Design makes one called a slide strap.
Okay.
And they take it to a whole different way of doing it. Instead of having the camera slide up and down the strap, they just make the back of their strap real slippery. It's about as wide, it kind of looks like seatbelt material.
Okay.
Okay? And you wear it cross thing, and it's as wide as a seatbelt strap. It's a very slippery material. So when you pull it up, the strap just slides around, back
Okay.
and forth. You're just sliding the camera and the strap, so there's nothing, you know, so there's nothing swiveling. Again, you still have to watch you're not unscrewing it, but you just slide the whole thing up and drop it down. If you want to use it as a regular camera strap on just one shoulder, the other side has got the neoprene anti-slip stuff, so you just turn it over and use that side.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
rather clever.
Yeah.
And it's fairly wide, so it distributes the weight pretty good. So that's a different way of doing it. You know, all these things again. Now theirs too, they have a custom plate that goes on the bottom of the camera that serves as a mounting point for the slide strap and as an Arca Swiss mount.
Okay.
So you don't have to remove it. You can just plop it on the tripod and the whole thing.
If you have a tripod that uses the Arca Swiss.
Yeah, if you have an Arca Swiss. And that makes it convenient there.
Okay.
But most of these ones with the slide strap, if you're using that, you're not using a tripod because it's going to be a nuisance to take it off and on.
Okay.
And I'm a big tripod user, you know, as you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
You know.
What else? Holsters?
Well, then we get into the two camera harnesses that you know, that you had asked me. Well, you had asked me about them already, and I went off on a tangent and talked about
Okay.
slide straps. Now we got a two-gun thing there. You know, you're
Okay.
back to being whoever.
Some of those
you know.
look pretty silly, I think, but I'm sure they're nice.
Well,
but-
I look cool in mine.
Well, if it helps.
Well-
I mean, your body gets really tired of
the
carrying
nice
heavy
thing about
cameras.
mine, the harness I use, and I use Optec double harness, and the yoke goes around your shoulders and over both shoulders.
Okay.
So the weight's distributed across your back and across both shoulders.
Uh-huh.
And then you have a camera hanging on each side, and those cameras are attached to the traditional camera lugs. But what they do is they make one of the straps on a slide, so when you pull it up, it doesn't get all tangled. And then when you're done with it, you can just leave it go. I've used that at rodeos especially, where I'm shooting the barrel racers, and they come from one side to the other. And I don't have a lens that'll cover both.
Right.
So I need a short lens and a long lens. And I can just, when I'm at the rodeo, I can just shoot the other one, leave it go, and grab the other one and take the other shot without missing a beat, and just go back and forth with them. So they're really handy for that. I can walk in that for a long time, even with a heavy lens, a 150-600 or a 7200 2.8 or something like that. And it puts the weight around that it helps a whole lot. You know,
If I like the looks of those, I should probably do that for weddings, because my upper back hurts when I get back from a wedding, because I have the two cameras hanging off my body
Yeah.
for hours, and you know,
well,
my upper back.
Yeah.
I get home and it's like, oh, I wish I had somebody give me a massage.
I do notice if I wear that like all day, at the end of the day, my lower back, I feel it. I guess it's
Oh.
compression just from
Oh,
all the
from
weight.
the weight,
So I'll feel a
yeah.
little bit of discomfort in my lower back, you know, all the way down.
But if I, instead of the 2 straps like I use, that would probably even the weight out
Oh yeah,
more?
absolutely. That would be, instead of having 2 straps like that, having this, and again, you don't have to worry about them sliding off your shoulders, you know, there's not going anywhere. And they have, it goes around your back, and there's also another little strap that you can go across here if you want. But they're very comfortable for
that would
long.
be good for nature photographers who hike,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You know, I do a lot of hiking,
Yeah, for
as
hiking
you know,
they're great. Now, you know, again, like anything that's hanging down, if you run, they're going to be flopping back and forth or something like that. But you can always, a lot of guys I know that have the kind of thing, they'll take a little belt and they'll just cinch it down if they're going to be walking long distances so it's not flopping around. The nice thing about them is the kind I have, I can put on a tripod too because it's attached to the regular camera lug, so I can put on a tripod. They do have another style, and that's kind of more like a glorified double black rapid kind of thing, you know, where they're attaching to the bottom like that too.
Okay.
Now Black Rapid also, they make a double strap, which is like 2 of theirs going across, but it's attached a little bit. It doesn't have a wide piece in the back to distribute the weight, but it's a 2-camera system. But I don't think it does much more than if you just had them hanging without anything. Where the Optec, it really spreads the weight around.
Yeah, that's what.
And you know, the piece is wide, but it's just over your upper back, so it's not hot.
I was just going to say, wouldn't that be hot and sweaty in Florida?
Well, you know, it's, you know, maybe 3 inches wide across your back on your upper back. So usually that's not bad up there, you know. And then it comes around on the 2 sides. So it's comfortable and it's distributing the weight. But anything you have on you in Florida for any length of time is going to be hot.
Yeah,
you know?
this is true.
So they're nice. I like them to distribute the weight there. I still have my tripod attachment point available, so I can leave my plates on if I want, if I'm going to put it on.
So they have the quick release, so you can just put it on the tripod.
They have the quick releases, so it's great. And I'll use that if I have 1 tripod and 2 cameras. I can take the 1 tripod, attach it to the, take the camera, attach it to the tripod, pop the lugs off if I want, and shoot. And then I want to do the other one, hook that back up, boom. So I'm not even have to worry about what I'm going to do with the 1 camera while I'm trying to put the other one on and off, because it's still hanging on me all the time. Makes it very easy for changing lenses and everything else because they're always on me, and I can take them off if I want, or I can just leave it on. And I can walk around all day in that, so that's comfortable. Now you do, when you put it up, you do have that, the 1 strap does kind of have a tendency, you know, you got to make sure you push it up out of the way so it's not in your face. I mean, like you would with a regular camera strap. You know, but it's not binding or anything. So I do like that. And believe it or not, that's one of the cheaper options you have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which amazed me at first. First time I saw it, I better not say anything because I'll liable to raise the price. So we won't say what a deal I think it is.
And that's the Optec?
That's Optec. That's their double Optec.
Okay.
Yeah. American company, American-made stuff, which I like too. I like supporting stuff that's made here by a small company here instead of somebody in China or something like that. So.
All right.
Like
so who else makes harnesses?
Besides them, you know, you had them. You have them. Rapid Strap, like I say, they have one. Right. Peak Design has a double harness. It isn't their slippery strap. It's more of a conventional strap, kind of like a Black Rapid kind of strap, but it's a double strap. Joby makes them too. So there's
Are they all pretty similar? Or?
They're all pretty similar. The one that would be different is the Optec, because there you're attaching, well, the Optec makes the 2 styles. The one that attaches to the camera lugs and the one that attaches to the tripod.
Okay,
the others are all tripod attachment kind of things that I've seen. So, and I'm sure there's another 50 manufacturers out there. With all these things, there's some of these boutique manufacturers. You're talking about colors, where one of them, one harness is called the Money Maker, and it's all leather. It's leather harness, you know, straps and everything else. I think it's made by somebody who's making harnesses for horses and stuff like that, because it's wide, it's really well made, and you can get it in all kinds of hand-tooled leather and this, that, and the other, and it's a money maker for them too, for what they're charging. But I mean, the quality is
And they call it the money maker if it's because you have two cameras?
Yeah, because you
Okay.
can carry your two cameras around, so it's your money maker, because you have your cameras. And they promote it for event photographers and for wedding photographers. And I mean, it's a classy piece of equipment, so you're not going to look dorky in it, because obviously you paid a few bucks for this leather harness. You know, it's not, don't look like something you homemade. So
Oh, wow.
that's a nice one too. And of course, it's obviously well made. So
Okay.
a lot of different ones there. So then from there, you want to get, you still have the weight on your shoulders, right? So the next thing you want to think about is, how do I get the weight off my shoulders altogether? And the way you get the weight off your shoulders is you put the weight on your hips, which has its pros and cons too. You know,
And
so
those
now
are the clips that you see people put on their
yeah,
belts.
and
Or,
you have all these.
well,
what
there's
they
more
call-
than that. I
yeah,
just
they-
realized I've seen people who have like a belt with like padded,
Yeah.
kind of like a little bit of a bag, little bit of a belt kind of thing.
See a lot of photojournalists with them, and we'll talk more about them since they're more or less a camera bag.
Okay.
Let's talk about them as the bags.
All right.
For right now, let's talk about the clip styles.
Okay.
And there's three basic clip styles you see. True or true clips, and that would be the one made by Peak Design makes one, and Spider makes another one.
Okay.
And then the third one is Cotton Carrier.
All right.
That's a clip, but it's a vest, I guess you'd call it, or a front plate with a thing that goes around your shoulder. So it's got this big canvas or fabric plate in the front with a socket in it, and then it goes around your back and under your arms and everything. And you take, and there's the attachment goes on the bottom of the camera in the tripod hole again,
Okay.
right? And what that does is you just take it and you slide it into this when you're not using it. So your weight, it's right in your chest right here.
Okay.
Okay, and that'll hold one camera. And then they have an attachment. They also have a belt strap, and then the belt strap, you can put one on the belt strap. But the
Okay.
original Cotton Carrier is the one that goes right on your front. So you have this big thing on here.
Doesn't sound very appealing.
It gets I think it gets the prize for geekiest, dorkiest looking way to carry a camera. Now, I've never used one, but I have some friends who have, and one of the people who went with us to Cuba, he had one, but he didn't bring it to Cuba. And I saw him wear it 3 or 4 times, and after that I didn't see him wear it much. It's going to be hot because it's all over your chest, you know.
Yeah.
It certainly is distributing the weight,
Okay.
but you know, at a cost of
Right.
being fairly hot. Now, if you're in a northern climate in the winter, that's not an issue, but if you're down here in sunny Florida with you and me, you're not going to wear that into the Everglades, you know.
All right.
The guy I'm going out to the Palouse with, he likes them.
Uh-huh.
He's going to have a couple out there if we want to try them.
Okay.
So we'll see how it is in a little cooler climate like that. So that's the Cotton Carrier, and that's quality product and everything else. Then the next two are your Peak Design and your Spider. Those there, they have a clip that goes on the tripod plate of the camera, okay? And then there's a piece on your belt that it clips
So
into.
you supply the belt.
Well, no, one comes with a belt automatically.
Okay.
The other brand, the belt is optional. You can use your own brand.
Okay. And so it slides on your belt, the clip, the
Yeah,
thing that you clip into?
the Spider Pro, that comes, the system includes the belt. And they all have a single one, and they have a dual holster option too, so you can
Right.
put one on either thing. They also have a lot of options to hang on the belt. They have memory card holders and you know, all
Right.
kinds of stuff. And theirs, when it's on the belt, there's a piece that sticks out and hooks so the camera can swivel a little bit. So it's not rigid on
Okay.
your belt. It has the ability to move back and forth while it hangs on
And
your
what's the
on your
benefit
belt.
of that?
Well, when you sit down, you can flip it up so you can sit down.
Oh, yeah.
The other kind is straight down, or side. The other. Well, let's finish talking about the Spider or the Spider Pro first. Now that, like I say, that swings back and forth. They also have an Arca Swiss plate adapter that you can put on, so you can use an Arca Swiss. But that's big and bulky, so it adds a lot of bulk to the back of the camera. So, and they have a smaller one if you just have a mirrorless camera, okay? For stuff like this, you're talking about $130, $140 for a single one with the belt.
Wow.
Okay. And if you have,
Wow.
yeah. So, and that's going to hang it. It's going to hang it on your waist, and it swings back and forth, and you can quickly. There's a safety lock on it that you can engage if you want, so you don't have to worry when you sit down and being pushed out of the strap, or if you're running, so you can do it. These things here you can run in because it isn't swinging around very much.
Okay.
But the weight is hitting on your hip. Now, they also, and you can see the hits on your hip because they have, as part of it, there's a back piece, like a piece of padding that goes between your leg and the camera, so as it's banging around, it's hitting the padding, so you don't wind up bruised. Yeah. So that's the one. Now the other one is the Peak Design Capture Pro.
Okay.
Theirs, you have the hook on, you know, have the plate on the back, and it clips onto your belt. But when it clips on solid. It either clips on straight down or every 90 degrees you can clip it. But when it's on there that way, it's on there that way. In other words, you put it in and you turn it to 90 to lock it. So now it's on, and if you sit down, you have all this heavy, sticky stuff sticking out, and you're trying to do it. So you're probably going to have to loosen the belt if you sit down anywhere.
So you put it like into the holster, and then you said how do you secure it?
No, there's a clip. In other words, it's a socket on the holster is a socket, and the thing on the back of the camera slides into it.
And then it automatically clips. You'll hear it like click or something?
When you turn it 90 degrees.
Turn what?
You just, in other words, you put your camera in and turn it 90 degrees.
You turn the camera.
Turn the camera.
And that locks it into the clip.
Well, as long as it's 90 degrees, it can't pull out.
Okay.
There's nothing to keep it at 90 degrees. In other words, if you twist your camera 90 degrees, you can then pull it out.
I see.
Okay, so if you had it straight down and you sat down and your camera turned 90 degrees, you could now just lift it out.
I see.
That's how you lift them out. You just grab it,
and turn it,
swing it, and pull it out.
So it's fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, they do have
like a holster, like a gun.
They do have a safety lock. You know, they have a safety lock for it, so you can flip the safety lock, and then it won't come out no matter what you do.
Okay.
So you still have that safety lock to do, and there's the Capture Pro is what it's called, the Peak Design one, where that Spider is designed for a belt. The Capture Pro is designed to use both on a belt and to attach to your backpack straps. So you could have your backpack on, and you could have it clipped to one of the backpack straps and sitting here. It'll clip to any strap.
I see.
And there's, you buy the piece, and then if you want a strap, you buy the strap separate.
I see.
Okay. They're about $80 for the clip without a belt.
These are so expensive.
Yeah, they are expensive.
Wow.
None of them are cheap. Well, nothing for cameras is cheap.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I always said that our little stools that you and me use, you know, and we get at the dollar store, the cheap place, and they're $5 or $10 for the stool. I often say I ought to get them and put official camera thing on there and pay $50 a piece, and they probably go right out the door. You know, anything that says camera is more money. So, but the Capture Pro. The other thing that's nice about theirs is they have a clip that will fit in an Arca Swiss tripod, and they also have one for the Manfrotto tripods.
Okay.
So that one there, they have a plate, and they're the only one I know that has a plate that goes on there that you can use with a Manfrotto tripod. So if you're a Manfrotto fan and you want it, and you're using their RC2 style plate, which is the common one, theirs would be your solution. They would be the one of choice. And these things here, if you're really serious about getting the weight off your shoulders, they're putting it on your hips. So they're definitely a solution.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think they are.
Anything else about straps or clips
no,
or
I mean, you know, so there in the harnesses you have three styles. You know, in the clip-on you have three styles, going from the cotton carrier, which gets you the dorky person award, and then you have the other two, which both have their pros and cons. And I've looked at them both. I don't know. Again, you know, you can put them on your hips, and it's saving you a lot of weight there. From there, now you'd go to what you were talking about before, a bag system that goes around your waist.
It looks like a belt, but it's got like
Yeah.
cushioned
Yeah,
things where you can put your
exactly.
lens like face down. And I
Yeah.
don't know if they secure though.
Well, no, they're just in there.
just
Most of
there.
the ones I've seen, and your big camera makers, Low Pro makes one. I'm trying to think who else makes one, but there's a few people that make them, and you can get Think Tank makes them too. Low Pro
Okay.
and Think Tank are the two that you see the most,
Uh-huh.
and you can get all different size pouches
Uh-huh.
for different lenses.
Right.
So you can have all your lenses on this belt, around your waist, and you can have your cameras hanging on. You want to change a lens, you can take the one lens off, throw it in its pouch, grab the other lens and put it back on. So it's very fast if you're in a situation where you have to change lenses a lot in the kind of work you're doing. It's a fast, easy way to do it. I've seen a lot of photojournalists do it that are covering different things.
Right.
On one of the presidential campaigns, I was taking some pictures at a local place, and they had a couple of the national photographers there, and they were wearing them so they could throw their lenses in and out and
Yeah.
everything. And the lenses are convenient. Now they have tops on them, but of course
You've done
you have all
right?
that. You have all that. They have all that stuff unzipped, and half of them have them cut off because they're worried about getting at the
Speed.
lenses. They're
Right.
not thinking about it raining or anything like that. They're not using it so much like a protection. They're just quick and easy to get to. And that's good if you have a lot of lenses, and of course they have pouches for all your junk too, your flash, pouch for your flash, pouch for memory cards, pouch for batteries, whatever you want. They make a pouch for it. Some of them too go one step further, and they have what looks like a pair of suspenders. So you can clip that to the belt, and now you can put some of the weight on your shoulders.
Okay.
So you can kind of distribute the weight between the pouch around your waist and your shoulders, which is a clever idea.
Now I have a bag. I have a lot of camera bags, and we don't have enough time to talk too long on camera bags. But I have a bag, and I got it from, actually next year when you're planning the convention. This was a good idea, and I've seen it several times. If you get there on time, you're automatically put into a door prize. So they do the door prize drawing. Let's say the workshop starts at 8 o'clock. They do the door prize drawings at like 7:55. So if you show up at 8, you're not going to win a door prize. But I won a bag that goes around your waist, and it fits one camera with a smaller lens, not
Okay.
small lens, because my 24 to 70 will
Yeah.
fit in there pretty easily, and I can put another small lens in there. I can't put my 70 to 200 in there or anything like that. But boy, I like getting it off my shoulders, and when we hike, I carry, and I can put it around and unzip it and get in it, and I can change my lenses pretty, and it's like a little table almost right in front of my waist. I
Nice.
love that
Yeah,
little bag.
yeah.
In fact, I took it to the shoemaker to get it fixed because it started falling apart.
Oh, wow.
And I'm too cheap to buy a new one. I'll go to the shoemaker and fix it, because they sewed it. The zipper was starting to get ripped
Yeah.
because I used it. I love that thing, but it's small.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not that big.
Yeah.
But I prefer it over a backpack. So
Well-
the backpack, the weight is still on your back, but the backpack's bigger,
Yeah.
right? And that would be the next.
Well, yeah.
For hikers.
Yeah. You have your shoulder bags, and they're designed for ready access because they're right there. You flip them open, and you're running in and out. Domke would probably be the most famous.
Okay.
And that was started by a guy that was a photographer for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Okay,
yeah,
Domke was his name.
Uh-huh.
And he designed a bag for when his wife made a couple up, and then the other guys in the pool went, oh, I want one too. And that's how he got originally into the camera bag business. But his bag was designed for access. Had pocket for each lens, and you could take it out. Since the cameras he was protecting weren't his, they were the Inquirer's, didn't have any padding.
Oh.
It was canvas, so it was just canvas, so it protected some, but it wasn't padded or anything else. But you flipped it open and you could grab everything out. I used that kind of one when I was doing weddings back in the days. Really easy to get in and out. Still make them today. And of course, they make similar styles with a lot of padding now by all these different companies that are making bags. So that's your next step up. And that can go on your shoulder, it can go across shoulder.
Okay.
for safety.
That's called a sling bag.
No, it's a shoulder bag.
Oh, it's a shoulder
It's
bag.
still a shoulder bag. Some shoulder bags you can just wear here. But the bag is designed to be on your side by your hip.
I see.
A sling bag is like a one strap backpack. The way it's designed is when you're wearing it properly, it's across your shoulder, but the bag is in back of you.
I see.
And then when you want to use it, you
Sling it
slide
around.
you sling it around, you get the stuff out, sling it back when you don't. It's kind of halfway between a backpack and a shoulder bag.
But faster to get to your
Faster
equipment.
to get to,
Backpack is slow to get to your
A
equipment.
backpack, you can carry tons of equipment the most comfortable way, because a backpack is a more comfortable way to carry than putting it on one shoulder. It's
Correct,
distributing
yeah.
the weight, especially if it's a properly designed backpack. The weight is across your shoulders and everything else. And they come in sizes up to, we can take the whole store with us, you know.
Right.
The problem I find is, for me at least, when I'm hiking and I'm using it, I have a tendency to use the camera I have in my hand and the lens in my hand, because
Grab it.
I'll get it with this. I won't bother to get the other lens out.
Correct.
Laziness on my part, obviously.
Yeah.
I just banged the mic, so I'm sure that popped there. Sorry about that, guys. But I'm sure other people are the same way, that if it's in the backpack, it stays in the backpack.
Right.
And then to get it out of the backpack, you got to take the backpack off.
And you have to have
unzip
somewhere
it,
to put it.
You got to have somewhere to put it. and
Because
it's-
for me, you know,
and
I
it's-
like to hike in the Everglades.
And it's always, you know,
There's nowhere to. That's why I like
it's-
that little thing where I can
yeah.
use it like a table in front of my belly.
Now I did get one, a low pro flip side,
Okay.
and that's a backpack, but the lid is on the inside, and the idea is it has a waist strap, so you take off the two shoulder straps. Now it's on the waist strap, and you can swing it around
To the front of you.
and flip it out this way and unzip it, and then you have your
so
stuff
it's like
there.
the little table. Like
It's
the
like a
one-
little table, but it has a tendency to not stay straight. So you
Right.
got to kind of hold on to it. You just can't turn around and leave it there, because it's going to
Right.
flip down.
But
that
still,
allows
it's easier
you,
access.
It allows you to get your stuff like that. And I've used that standing in a stream.
Okay.
Okay.
So you own that?
I own it. I have that low pro. I don't remember. They have a couple sizes, and I have
Right.
one of their flip sides. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll use that. That was the camera, the backpack I had the last time we were out that I was using.
Okay. Well, in the dark, I didn't notice
In
it.
the dark, yeah, I was using it in the dark.
It was kind of dark out there.
But yeah, I was laying on the ground. I wasn't doing it that way. But that's a comfortable bag, and that, you know, it's on your shoulder, and that's your, you know, that's your biggest way to have it on your shoulder.
You
They're
mean
an
on
interesting
both shoulders.
both
Backpack.
Yeah,
you're talking
backpack.
about.
Your
Yeah.
both shoulders. The flip around style, you can get out a little more. Some people like that. But it is awkward, I got to say, when I have it on the ground and I'm trying to open it. That stiff back, because it's padded, right, doesn't just flip up easily. So it has a tendency, you're holding it up and it wants to close on you and everything.
see.
Or a regular front backpack, it's just cloth, so you flip it out of the way.
Right.
Okay. That's less, it's safer though, because the zipper's against your shoulder, so it's harder for somebody to just open the backpack and back of you and
Take your stuff.
take your stuff out while you're standing there.
Okay, so sling bags. Well, so we've got the belt bags, I guess you would call them,
Yeah.
around your waist.
Mm-hmm.
Sling bags, backpacks, and then just regular bags that you throw over your shoulder.
Regular bags, yeah, they're, you know, a shoulder bag to me is what I use most of the time,
Me too.
because it's ready access, and I want ready access to what I have. So I can have my lenses in there. My camera's on a strap,
Yep.
okay, or in my hand or whatever, and when I'm shooting. You know, there's space in there for it when I'm not, but typically the camera's on a strap around my neck or a shoulder or somewhere, and I'm in and out with the contents of the bag. And I can have different lenses in there and everything else. I probably have 20 bags.
I have 20 bags as well, because you know what I like? I like a bag that I don't have to take my camera apart to put away.
Yeah.
And so it needs a big open space, but then I want to put my flashes or something, whatever on the side. So my favorite bag, when we were on a speaking engagement at one of the camera clubs, they had a used stuff for sale. My favorite bag I paid $12 for.
Wow.
It was somebody's old bag. It even has the little elastic for the film.
Oh,
You
geez,
know,
yeah.
it's an old bag. But it's like the perfect size. I can put my you know, one of my big cameras with a 70 to 200 or 300 lens and a couple of flashes and maybe my bracket and then it's got a pocket in the front for the batteries, and it's my favorite bag. I keep getting too big, too small. I got the kind that you wheel.
Yeah.
Those things are so heavy when I have camera equipment and I can barely pick it up to put it away in my van.
Yeah, or transport.
So I hardly ever use the big wheelie ones. It's
Yeah.
they're just too heavy.
They can be heavy.
So
You know, they're good sometimes for travel. You know, you're going on an airplane or something
right,
like that. But
yeah.
even then, they can be a
but
problem.
I can't put it in
Yeah.
the overhead thing.
Yeah.
There's no way. I could barely even put it into my car. So
Yeah, I have a Pelican case for. I used to use it a lot because it'll fit in the overhead on most airlines, and you can put your stuff in there, and with the padding in there and the fact that it's waterproof and everything else, you can, you know, it's indestructible. The problem is they've lowered the weight restrictions. The empty case is like 15 or 16 pounds. You know, so you're right away you got half your weight requirement in the empty thing. So I'll
traveling
use it.
is becoming more and more of a problem for photographers.
But I'll use that in the car if I'm going on a trip that way and bouncing around. I'll put the stuff in the Pelican because I know it's
going to be safe.
It's safe. Yeah.
Yeah. So give me a quick summary on bags because we're running out of time.
Okay. Quick summary on the bags. You got your holster waist bags or whatever you want to call them, fanny packs, that kind of stuff, and then you have your shoulder bags. And you have the shoulder bags that are designed to go on one shoulder, which is the traditional style. And then you have some of the newer ones, which are actually designed to be worn cross shoulder. The $1 Million Home and that line there are all like that, where they go across like that. And then from there, you go to a sling bag, where it's kind of like it's a backpack, but it isn't. You know, it's a backpack, but it's a shoulder pack, but it's whatever. So it's on your back most of the time, but the weight is on one shoulder, not distributed, but it's in backius, so it's not getting in the way while you're walking too. You don't have this big clumsy thing sticking out the side, and that's a little more convenient. I got a couple of them, 3 of them. And then you have the backpacks. And the backpacks come in all different sizes, and they distribute your weight better for walking around long distance, but they make the harder to get at the stuff because it's in the backpack. And then from there you would have rolling bags like you mentioned there, which are bigger yet. You can carry all kinds of stuff, but when you film, I got a Pelican case like that. I got a real big Pelican case I use at home, which I call my hurricane case, because it'll fit a lot of my equipment. So I can put it in there, tighten it, and I can throw it in the back of the car if we have a hurricane coming, and it's waterproof. The problem is it takes 2 people to pick it up when it's full. Really.
I believe me, I don't have a Pelican case. I just have the regular wheeling bag, and I can't pick it up
so
when it's full.
they can get heavy, but they're, you know, you don't have to worry about anything that's in them getting hurt though.
What about, like, okay, one of the things, you know, I like to go in the Everglades, and I'm kind of still new at it. I've been doing it a couple years now, I guess, but not fanatically. So I had to get a dry bag.
Ah, okay.
That's another story. That's another show,
That's
though.
another show, a dry bag.
Because the dry bag I had was uncomfortable. So maybe one of these days I'm going to get Chris on the show.
Well, you know, a dry bag really, most of them aren't designed to be.
Oh, are you kidding me? You have not looked at the hiking stores, obviously.
No, I guess I have. Because most of the ones I'm familiar with are you put in the kayak or you put in the canoe.
Yeah, no. They have got, Chris has everything. My friend, you know Chris.
Well, they do have, I do know they have dry bags that you can put in traditional camera bags or backpacks and stuff like that.
That's an idea, too.
You know.
Anyway, that's about all we have time for today.
Already? We're out of time?
I know.
Wow,
it goes
geez.
fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, time flies.
So remember to check the show notes on understandphotography.com. We usually take a couple of days, and we'll get the video on YouTube and the podcast on iTunes, and then the show notes will be typed up. So we'll have links to all of these bags and straps and everything that we talked about so that you can kind of go and look and see what you like. I mean, one of the nice things, if you can go to a trade show or if you're lucky enough to have a camera store near you, is just to go try some things out. Because boy, I'll tell you what, I have made a lot of expensive bag mistakes. So anyway, when you're on our website, understandphotography.com, don't forget to look around. We've got a lot of good articles, and we try to simplify everything. Anything that you're interested in is we probably have an article about that. Remember to check us out also for our online classes and hands-on classes and trips. If you're in Florida, we're doing several new trips this coming season, not yet to be announced, but maybe by the time this airs it will, because this is not a live show. This we're recording because some of us are taking some vacation time this summer, so we'll be playing this as a recording. Tune in here on the Understand Photography Facebook page to watch next week's episode at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'm Peggy Farron. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Joe Fitzpatrick, for
Pleasure.
being the guest. And we will see you next week.
Get up!